Hi, welcome back to Ahead of the Curve. I'm your host, Dr. Megan Teed, and today we're diving into another scoliosis question. Which side should I strengthen with scoliosis? If you've ever stared at your curve in the mirror, wondering if you're supposed to beef up your quote unquote weak side or the side that looks like it's sunken in, or stretch your tight side, or just do everything equally, this episode is for you. Before I jump into the material for the day, just a little life update because I haven't done that in a while, I don't think. Other than with Carrie. On those episodes, we do a lot of life updates, which is fun. But on these episodes, I haven't done many life updates, but one thing that happened this weekend, which was fun and exciting, I turned 40. And my husband planned a surprise party for me with a lot of my really close friends. So it was just like an awesome weekend to catch up with people. And I was mostly surprised. He is not the best at, keeping secrets from me, which is a good thing. But he asked me like a very specific question about a few of my friends, like, hey, has so-and-so or so-and-so reached out to you to hang out today? And it was just a very unusual question for him to ask me. And anyway, I got a little suspicious about that question, but other than that, I was pretty surprised. And if it looks like I am like puffy and red right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, nobody gave me a trigger warning about the show We Are Liars, or We Were Liars, or whatever that show is called. Well, if you are sensitive about animals, I'm giving you a trigger warning about that show because nobody told me. And anyway, I sometimes will sit and I'll have my lunch and enjoy a show while I'm eating lunch, and big mistake today. Big mistake before I'm about to record. So anyway, let's talk about what the topic of the day is. So which side should you strengthen with scoliosis? And last week I talked about which side should you stretch. And if you listen to that episode, you'll know that it's a little bit more complicated than, just simply stretching one side or strengthening one side. So scoliosis is complex. It's not just a side bending issue. It's three-dimensional. There's a shift involving rotation and compression and muscle imbalance. So the idea that you can simply, just strengthen the quote unquote weak side, it's incomplete. By the end of this episode, you'll have a better idea of what's actually happening with the muscles on each side of your curve, especially if you didn't listen to last week's. You'll get insight into that. Why both sides actually need strengthening, but in different ways, and how to approach it safely and strategically for long-term results. So let's just start with the basics. In scoliosis, you have a concave side of your curve, which is the shortened side. So if you feel on either sides of the rib cage, if you have like a higher up curve, or the most common curve, a right thoracic, left lumbar, you'll notice that if you feel with your thumb that on the left side, your ribs are going to feel like there's less space in between the ribs. And then on the right side, you'll feel that there's more space on the other side. So on the shortened side, the muscles here are tight, but they're also underused and weak because they've been stuck in the shortened position for a long time. So in order for them to fire, they need to have an optimal length to them. And because they're functionally short, it doesn't give them a lot of space to contract and relax. So they're not able to build strength quite as easily. Then on the convex side, this side where there's more space, those muscles are actually lengthened and overstretched. So a lot of times people think, oh, this is my stronger side because they see the rib bump or the prominence. And they think, oh, that's muscles that is stronger on that side. But unfortunately, it's not actually stronger. It's still weak, but it's weak in a different way from your concave side. So those muscles are longer or overstretched because they have a longer distance to go between point A and point B because of the way that the spine is shifting and rotating. So then they're not able to actually contract fully and generate very much power. So what does all that mean? It means that both sides need strengthening, but for different reasons. The concave side, it needs activation to restore tone and balance. And then the convex side needs to contract in order to help with the derotation and to pull the imbalanced bones, like the ribs and the spine, more into midline. So if you're just kind of willy-nilly strengthening without considering your curve's unique mechanics, it can reinforce your curve pattern instead of correcting it. So I briefly touched on this, but the most common curve type is a right thoracic and left lumbar. And it just helps to talk about this one because not only do most people have it, but there are like just variations of this that are also common. So even if you don't have both the right thoracic and left lumbar, you generally will have one or the other. And then there's a very small percentage that has a reverse curve of that. So for ease and simplicity, we're going to talk about the right thoracic and left lumbar curve type. From behind, your right upper back is convex. So that's the side that appears more prominent. The muscles are overstretched and they kind of struggle to stabilize and pull you into midline. So if you have an imbalanced curve and you're curved over to the right side, you're shifted, your rib cage is also shifted to the right and rotated back on the right. So if you visualize yoga blocks stacked on top of each other, instead of being symmetrically stacked, they would be shifted off to that right hand side. And then your left low back. So if you're looking at yourself from the back, it is also convex. So it often feels kind of tight or fatigued. These are, again, generalizations for the way that you may feel with your curve type, but that is how it presents. And then if you're looking at yourself from the front, your left upper ribs, and then your waistline or your pelvis on the right-hand side, they are going to be rotated forward. So the left upper ribs, they're compressed. They don't move very well as you breathe. And the right pelvic area is generally more rotated forward and shortened. But, again, if you just randomly strengthen those sides that feel weak or sore without restoring your alignment and decompressing first, then you're just building strength in your dysfunction. That's why so many people come to me and they're like, well, I've been doing planks and rows and all the right things, squats, but nothing's changed. Things are even getting worse than they were before. And That's why, because if you aren't understanding the mechanics of what your body is doing and you're just randomly strengthening, nothing is going to change, and things may even end up getting a little bit worse. Now, let's talk a little bit about strategy. It's really, really important to start with alignment and awareness. So, I recommend using mirrors, using your selfie mode on your camera, even using like a partner, but it's honestly better if you are watching yourself so that you can begin to build that independence with an autonomy with your body instead of having to rely on somebody else to tell you where you are or how you should be shifting. It's really powerful for you to start to build this on your own. So before you add resistance, you want to first make sure that you're getting your body in the best alignment possible. And you can do that initially more simply by when you're laying on the floor, using wedges or towels to prop under your convex sides to even out the pelvis and the ribs. So you generally want to prop what is dropped backward. If you're laying on the floor and you have the most common curve type, let's start at your rib cage, you're going to, lay on your back and you try and slide your hands under your rib cage and you notice which side feels easier for you to slide your hand under. That is the side that you want to hold off on. You don't want to prop on that side. You want to prop on the side that is closer to the floor. So what that does, it provides a derotation of the rib cage so that you're propping yourself out of your curve. And then you want to do the same thing at the pelvis or the low back, kind of slide your hands down there. Notice which side has a larger gap. You want to go on the side that has a smaller gap. And I guess I should phrase that differently. You want to slide your hands under and notice which side has a smaller gap. And that is the side that you want to prop to help derotate. And this is to prop out of your curve. And the goal here is to create a more neutral environment before you were to load. So if you're laying on your back, something really super simple that you could do is just start doing some marching, laying on your back, really slow and controlled knee lifts, and focus on not letting your pelvis rock back and forth, not letting the rib cage rock side to side, and just having a little bit of core engagement while you're in that position that is beginning to build some strength in a neutral position. The other thing you could do is grab a set of weights, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, while you're propped in that position. And you can do some chest press movements. So just like bending the elbows towards the floor and pushing the weights up to the ceiling, slow and controlled. Doing both weights at the same time is a little easier than doing one weight at a time. So if you do one weight at a time, that's really challenging your ability to stabilize and keep yourself derotated, versus when you're doing both at the same time, you're automatically and kind of naturally balancing yourself out with both having the same equal weight on both sides. And then you move up to a seated position and then standing finally. And those are the spots and spaces where you want to use a mirror or selfie mode for feedback. So using a mirror for feedback if you're in a seated position, doing the same things. So doing some, I guess similar things, holding some weights and doing some bicep curls or pressing up overhead and just trying to keep the symmetry at the rib cage and the pelvis, keeping those body blocks stacked as best as possible. And then finally doing those things in standing would be the most challenging because you don't have any support other than your feet. So it makes it a lot harder to keep a corrected position or a more of like a neutral position before you start loading when you're standing. So then you want to activate your concave side. And I like to think of this as waking up your sleepy muscles. And my go-to, a couple of my go-to moves, one of them is a side plank on the concave side. So propped up onto your elbow. You could do it with your hips on the ground if that's already pretty challenging for you, just propping yourself up on your elbow and trying to find some activation at that side of the rib cage without overly side bending. And then another of my go-tos is side lying resisted breathing into the compressed ribs. So you would be laying on, let's do the most common curve type. That's the right thoracic and left lumbar curve. So your left side would be more compressed and collapsed. Laying on the left side with a ball under those ribs and then trying to breathe towards the ball. That's creating a resistance to work against with your breath, and it helps to activate those intercostal muscles. All right. So then next we would work on controlling your convex side. So here, remember, these muscles are over lengthened or overstretched. And we're trying to strengthen and teach the body how to bring your rib cage or your pelvis into a stacked and midline position and maintain it. One way that can be super helpful is if you're standing, doing a single arm row on your, let's talk about the most common curve type. If you're right thoracic and you pull with your right arm, let's do like a high row. You can do a low row as well, but high row sometimes helps you feel a little bit better. And you are pulling your elbow back slightly, and then you're trying to derotate your rib cage forward. So as I nudge my elbow back, my ribs on my right side, naturally, they want to come more forward. So you can even feel back where your prominence is. And as you pull that elbow back, you can feel how it kind of flattens it out a bit and draws it more forward. And if you want to make it like even more advanced, you would add in a press with the left arm. So as you push the left arm forward, that encourages the left rib cage to open up or rotate backward. As you pull the right arm back, the ribs are moving forward. And then you can do another example would be a lunge with anti-rotation control. So you would be standing with either side facing your anchor. If you're using a band, have it anchored at chest height. And then you would hold on to the band with both hands and press out forward with the band. And you could be in a lunge position while you're doing that. So that's providing some anti-rotation control for your upper and your lower body, because your legs and your glutes, your obliques, they're all having to work together to keep you in a squared position so that you're not falling into your tendencies with your curve. So just to kind of wrap things up, you always want to train both sides, but you're going to spend extra time on one side for a different reason than the other side. So you're going to spend more time on your right side if you're doing rows. If you have that most common curve type, You're going to spend more time on your left side doing like a chest press or a pushing motion in a standing position to help open up your left side. And this helps to re-educate both sides to provide better symmetry to your curve. And let me share just a real quick story. One of my clients who has the most common curve type, the right thoracic curve, she came to me and she was like really frustrated because her trainer was like, oh, you just need to, stretch your convex side more, because they looked at her and they're like, man, that side looks so tight and ropey. And so they were doing all these crazy stretches with her, and her curve ended up getting worse, and it felt worse too. So we focused more on decompressing her spine first. So we always want to provide that elongation first. And then initially we started propping her right thoracic side and training, those muscles to begin to engage instead of stretch. Train those muscles to engage, and she just felt like she was just so much more supported throughout the day and didn't feel like those muscles were fatiguing all the time or just really tired and painful like they were before when she was stretching something that was already overstretched. So her posture improved, her rib prominence reduced, and she just felt really strong in her corrections. So let's recap. Scoliosis involves both a short and long muscles, and both of those short and long muscles can be weak. The concave side is short and underused, and that means it needs activation and more awareness. And then the convex side is long or overstretched and kind of unstable. So that side needs more control and strength. But like I said a bunch of times, both sides need strengthening with curve-specific strategy and intention. Blindly strengthening isn't enough. We need targeted, aligned strength. That is the game changer with it. If this episode made you rethink your scoliosis strength routine, just wait until you get inside the Scoliosis Strength Collective. The fall cohort, the doors for the fall cohort, they open very, very soon. Let's see when this episode comes out on Tuesday. The doors will be open. So if you want to be getting all the details, the best discount, the best class time, your preferred class time, you want to make sure that you get on the wait list to get the discount and the early access. So inside, I teach you step by step how to assess, to release, to align and strengthen your curve, exactly your curve type, so that you're not just willy-nilly exercising, you're actually building some correction so that you'll get stronger and you'll stop reinforcing the curve pattern that you're trying to change. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, stay well and stay ahead of the curve.